And Patrick, I'm going to throw it over to you and say welcome and thank you.
Thanks, Jim. Appreciate it very much. I'm going to start sharing. And thanks everyone for coming. We're pumped that you're here. Could you let us know who you are, where you're coming from, and what your role is? So your name, the school or org you're with, and what your role is.
I don't know if it was just me, Patrick, but there was a few, you were a little hard to hear for a little bit. So it might be that you might want to turn your video off if you're.
Yeah, sure. We got a couple of.
I do see people putting in the chat Florida, where they're from.
Right. Great, lots of designers. Got faculty. Development, great, awesome. And from all over the country, Florida, Oregon. Faculty, great. Virtual K-12. That's everyone right now. Awesome, great. Well, again, thank you all. Keep letting us know who you are. A lot of people here, great. So we're going to keep using the chat for a second, and we're talking about visualizing the possibilities in online discussions. So can tell from your roles that you all have a lot of experience with online discussions, and so wondering in the chat, one word to describe your impression of online discussion forums. They're all so good. They're all so good. There's a love. We got a love. That's great. Busy work. I like 3 words. No take seriously. That was a very good way to make 1 word out of 3. That's like a limiting word count that students also will get around with that technique. Great. So Rebecca seems to be doing something different than the rest of us because they can be rich. Okay, a few words. Why do you think discussions seem to fail? So yeah, there are some advantages, as Stephen's pointing out. They aren't used for discussion. That's probably the main reason. Missing the point. Repetitive, sure, it's a task. Quality of the prompts. Yeah, going to the next level, right? Everyone's kind of saying the same thing. Thank you, Lisa. Post once, reply twice. Great. Sort of remote, as Brenda's saying. Rules, right? Yeah, definitely. Checking stuff off. Great, thank you guys. So I'm Patrick Dempsey, and I am the Director of Digital Teaching and Learning at Loyola University in Maryland. And I am here with my colleague, Veena.
Hi, everyone. I'm Veena Radhakrishnan. I'm the Senior Director of Learning Innovation at the American Society of Addiction Medicine. I met Patrick when we were both at the Johns Hopkins Carey Business School.
So yeah, so we were both working in a teaching and learning unit and building out an online program. And as our own experience as online instructors, our own experience creating these online programs, and as online students, you know, we had the same sort of responses that you all did, that discussions were really failing. Faculty were telling us that. So we knew that there had to be some better way. We know there's some solutions out there, but we really wanted to find out why it was that things weren't working and what we could do better. So today what we want to do is talk a little bit about the research we did, getting some faculty perspectives on the traditional LMS, and why the faculty are actually saying that the learning managements fail, in particular with regards to discussion forums. So, and a solution, and then we actually developed a product to address the challenges of traditional discussions. So we'll look at just one or two examples of how faculty have responded to the use of the product. Veena will walk you through the system, show you how it works, and then we'll invite you to experience the product yourself. Okay, so we did some research. We got feedback from instructors across the US, a number of institutions, and fewer than 25% said they were satisfied with their school's learning management system, which really should come as no surprise. And it was a pretty lengthy survey, but we had some questions specifically focused on just sort of learning outcomes. And here were the 5 things that the instructors reported that the LMS did not help them do. And so this is pretty indicting, considering we use a learning management system for learning, and really what the instructors are saying is that it really doesn't help students learn in any meaningful way. They can't have meaningful discussions, so we know collaboration is important. Really makes it, especially discussions, hard to generate new ideas. Talk about it in the chat, how there's just sort of one level of response. Someone even said it's hard to make connections between ideas. When we're having discussions, you can't really see what's happening. Everyone's kind of responding at that same first level, and what ideas are actually being produced, and how would I know? And then, how is the discussion even developing? How is that first person who's responding to that prompt and that person who's responding to that, what is that developing? What is that growing into? So we really wanted to look at that and try to look why it was that the traditional forum failed in these really important ways. So we really broke it down into 3 things. So the linear approach is the lack of visuals, and then and someone mentioned this in the chat, a couple people did, about the limited creativity, because we're really making it a checklist as opposed to something where students are truly engaging. So the linear approach is obviously when it's top down and it is in a thread, and you have those requirements foisted upon students ahead of time, you're going to get what you have created. I mean, the system is perfectly created to get the results it gets. When we say post once on Thursday and twice by Sunday, that's what's going to happen. So the system actually works perfectly for the way it's designed. It's just not designed to do what we want it to do. So we were talking about the lack of ability to see connections. So there's no way that we can see. It's a linear thread. And I can't really see how this person's idea, especially if it's 3 or 4 down in a response, how that actually connects to an idea ahead of it, or even an idea that someone else posted, because it is linear, it is discrete. And then finally, of course, we limit creativity purposely by making sure that the discussion doesn't fail in the sense that everyone's going to post once by Thursday or Wednesday and twice by Sunday. So in that sense, we mitigate some potential failure.
Did we just lose him?
I think so. I'm going to try texting him. Sorry about that.
It's okay. Looks like we.
Back.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll just come right back.
Sorry about that, guys. Yep. Yeah, where did we lose you there?
Maybe 30 seconds ago, so not very far.
Okay, good. Very good. So I'm going to give me just a sec. Sorry about that. So I'm going to kick it to you guys in the chat. Some strategies you've used to improve discussion forums. Sorry about the typo on that. Yes, my internet's failing like discussions, sure. Examples are good, yep. The facilitative role of the instructor. Rubrics, so kind of setting some ideas of how students might actually do a better job, maybe some videos, sure. The instructor presence coming up a lot, good. Sure, other tools like VoiceThread or Flipgrid can be really engaging. So Faith, maybe using it more as formative to kind of prepare and then share their information, less of a discussion, maybe even shifting the purpose a little bit. Choice, that's good. Great, thank you guys for all of that. So we really saw the solution in two major ways. We knew we had to establish the conditions, and a lot of you talked about that. Setting up either rubrics or instructions that would help facilitate the sort of performance that you were hoping for. But then we still needed that way to show connections. So if we can establish the conditions to promote meaningful discourse, and we can show the connections to promote the creation of new ideas, we felt like we would really change the sorts of interactions students and instructors have in discussions. So we created this product called Pretzel, and basically the idea is we wanted to scale teaching excellence and learner engagement, and so that's what this product does. And it's a cloud-based learning platform that creates visually rich connections between people and ideas to make online discussions. Someone said that before, that they just aren't discussions. So just a little bit of background. We wanted to make it simple for instructors to create engaging online learning environments, and just a little bit about why the Pretzel. So we get so many designers here, you know, and the importance of, say, backwards design and alignment. But a lot of the times what happens is we overly sequence, and in particular, we overly structure our discussion forums so that we end up, again, getting exactly what we would expect to get, one post and two responses. But learning really doesn't happen that way. Discussions don't happen that way. In the classroom, we never ask 30 students to say the exact same thing. We don't give them, if we were doing that, we would give them a quiz. So Pretzel, the shape, really represents what we think what the learning process is. It's very circular. It goes around. It's unpredictable. And at the same time, it's very simple. A pretzel is made by just rolling out a little piece of dough and folding it over itself. So the shape of the pretzel really embodies our ideal about learning, that it's a really simple process, but it's not a straightforward process. So how do we set the conditions? So we created a series of modes. So yeah, I'll try to speak up. So we created a series of modes that would set the conditions for.
Sorry about this. His seems like he's dropping off a few times, but that is okay. He will hopefully pop right back in. This is the things that we have, issues we sometimes have when we present over over the internet and do it virtually. And here he comes back.
And I'm so grateful that our viewers are very forgiving and understand.
More time. I'm out.
All right, Patrick, you're back.
Thank you all for bearing with my terrible internet. I'm back, yeah.
Good.
I'll just wait till we're seeing the conditions slide here. Anyone in the chat?
I am seeing it says in the chat, yes, some strategies you have used to improve discussion forums, Word 2. Now the conditions one is up.
Should be ahead of that. Hold on, give me just a sec. Okay, give me a sec, sorry.
Patrick, we're seeing the slide with the different modes.
Yeah, you probably haven't used it because we're just.
Again, he dropped off. I don't know if you don't have the slides, do you, Veena, to maybe share? That might save his bandwidth a little bit.
I could. I think that if this continues, we can proceed with the demo.
Okay.
And then once his internet stabilizes a little bit, I'm sure he can continue the presentation.
Sure.
So I'm going to give him one more chance.
Okay, that sounds like a good plan. Here he comes back. He's quick on coming back. That's
Veena, I'm
good.
giving it to you here.
That's what we thought. So I'm sure you all know how passionate Patrick is about pretzel. So what I'm going to do is give you all a quick demo of the platform, and then I'll hand it back over to Patrick. So give me a second while I share my screen. All right. Can you see my screen now?
Yep. It says no bursts available. Create burst.
Perfect. So when you first come into the Pretzel platform, you will begin by setting up your class. The first thing you'll do is click on this Create Burst icon. And what you'll see is the different options for creating discussions. As Patrick mentioned earlier, we wanted to create those conditions to make it very simple for faculty to design different types of discussions. So we created these different modes. For example, Engage is an open discussion where students can search for points of interest in the discussion and participate anywhere in that conversation, rather than following the traditional model of responding to that initial prompt by the instructor. We also have a debate mode, which lets you assign students to a specific side of an argument and discuss alternate perspectives on a topic. The identify mode lets you bring in images or documents and create hotspots on them and discuss around that specific artifact or asset you have brought in. The record mode lets you have video-based discussions. MicroChat is kind of like Twitter for discussions, where you can impose a character limit to student responses. The gallery allows you to have discussion around a series of images or documents. For example, you could bring in your PowerPoint and talk about each slide within that PowerPoint, or a PDF document and the pages within that PDF. I also want to point out that we are currently working on launching several additional discussion modes by the end of summer or early fall. And because we are built on AWS, you'll always be on the current and up-to-date version of the platform. So now I'm going to walk you through how you can select these topics and organize your class. So let's assume this is a class on leadership and education. So the first thing you're going to do is type in your class title, class name, and you can choose the different modes for organizing your discussions. For example, let's say the first week you want to do introductions where participants introduce themselves, and we want this to be an open discussion. You can click on engage, and let's do week 1 is going to be our introductions. Let's say the second week we want to talk about leadership qualities, and this could be a video discussion where participants, share their perspective on leadership qualities. So we could use the record mode for a video-based discussion. And let's do another. So the third week, let's say we want to do a debate around the different theories of leadership. So this could be the debate mode. I'm going to select my topic and type in the title of my topic. So you can follow the same process for setting up your discussions. And for each topic, you can set dates for when the topic becomes available using this calendar tool. And you can also do grading either automatically based on the number of original ideas a student has posted, number of likes the person has received, and number of reacts or responses that this particular student's post has generated. Or you could do based on rubric where you set your own criteria. Once you've finished setting up your class, you're going to hit save. I'm going to turn these two off for now. And you will see this tile up here, which is basically the class we just set up. And inviting your students to your burst is really simple. All you have to do is just share this 7-digit code with them, and they'll be able to access your class right away. And one thing I also want to point out is that once you've created your class, you can always go back and make changes, and it's really simple. So let's assume that you decided to change the topic for a particular week, or you want to add additional topics. All you have to do is go in here, click edit, and you'll be able to move things around, add additional topics, make changes to your grading or calendar, or really any type of change. I'm going to go back to the dashboard right here. And so this is the class we just set up. And when you enter the class, you'll see that this is the homepage for our class. And the topics that we just created are organized the way we set up the discussion. So what I'm going to do now is actually stop sharing for a quick second and show you an example of what an actual class, when it's fully set up, looks like. All right, I'm back. Can you see my screen?
Yep. It's
Okay.
a little blurry, but I think you did on purpose. So yes.
I did. So we had to blur out some of these for, privacy and all of that. But as I was talking about earlier, so this is what you'll see on the homepage. You can use this area to post announcements, share resources, and students can also have a class discussion outside of the weekly topics that we designed for them. You, as an instructor, you also have the option to post an introduction video. You'll see the list of topics right here. So to begin discussing, what students would do is click on that particular topic. And when you enter the topic, the look and feel is going to be somewhat different depending on the mode that you choose. For example, a debate will look slightly different from, let's say, a video discussion. So here I have an example of the engage open discussion mode I was talking about earlier. One of the cool things about this is that students are able to participate, and then as they start participating, this visual representation right here will start to grow and will start to evolve. So this is what Patrick was talking about earlier, which is helping you see the connections between students' posts. So the middle circle right here represents the instructor's initial prompt, which was created by the faculty. And if you click through this interactive chart, you can actually explore the discussion, and each segment represents a new post. You can create posts using various multimedia options. You can record from your webcam. You can upload documents. You can also, Pretzel also maintains an internal repository. So if you, let's say, create a video for one section of a class, you can always repurpose it using your internal library. You can also create polls and embed media from, outside resources that you want to bring in. So this is an example of the video discussion record mode I was talking about earlier. It's really simple to create and share ideas. You basically click on this plus icon, and you have the option to record from your webcam, upload a file from your computer, or embed from a third-party tool like YouTube, or if your institution has a Vimeo or Kaltura, you can bring in videos from there as well. This is an example of the debate mode, where you see participants being assigned to one of the two sides. In this example, the instructor has set it up so that students either take on a challenge or talk about strategies to address a challenge. You can set it up so that it randomly assigns students to a particular side, or leave it open so that they can contribute to both sides of the debate. And of course, you can see the burst, the diagram growing as participants start posting. So these are just a few examples of the modes, and obviously there are more features. Grading is also really simple. You can review posts by a particular student so that you can turn on that option to bring up only their posts and look at it while you're grading. Or you can see the students' post in relation to who they have responded to. You can grade based on rubric, as well as provide additional qualitative feedback. So I know that we're running short on time, and I want Patrick to be able to go back and finish his presentation. So I just want to quickly point out that there are several other social learning tools, elements built into the system. For example, you can follow people and subscribe to their feeds. If you really like a post in the discussion, you can bookmark it and come back to it later. We also have an internal chat system so students can stay connected with each other and with the instructor. Both for faculty and for students, you can create podcasts, you can have your own portfolio, etc. So there are a lot of useful features for both faculty and students, and we're more than happy to set up a more in-depth demo or walkthrough for you. With that, I'm going to stop sharing and pass it back to Patrick.
Now, so you have a little bit more than 20 minutes left, almost 25.
We do have an activity plan, so I want to leave some time for that.
Well, I'm going to post in the chat, since that seems to work better than me presenting, and just give you the address, then have you guys all jump into a burst we created for this and start testing it out.
So what we'd like for you to do is Patrick's going to give you the website address to Pretzel. We'd love for you to go there, create an account. It's going to send you an activation email to activate your account. And then we're going to give you a 7-digit code to join the burst community we created just for our QM presentation. And post any questions you have, any thoughts you have there, where we'll be able to interact with you. Once you sign up, it's going to send you an activation email to your email account. Please make sure to check your spam folder in case the email goes there. Great. So Paula, we recommend that you put in the code where it says enter burst code and join the community. Feel free to post and ask us any questions you have. While you're all doing that, I also want to point out that we integrate with Blackboard, Canvas, and Moodle through LTI integration. So if you have any questions about that, feel free to reach out.
Paula is in, and I can see that she posts.
I see a question about, yes, so Patrick sharing an email address.
Oh, lots of people joining now. This is so cool. Hop into one of the forums also and start voting and opining.
Leslie, you want to enter the burst code all the way at the top where it says enter burst code and click on that little blue arrow.
And if you typed it in, just make sure there's no spaces because it'll pick up that as a character. Yeah, say something different. Thank you, Lisa. That was the point, right? We can't take any more I agrees. We just can't. Yeah, and thanks, Monica. We built on and continue to build on WCAG, and then second layer is the this system, which is constantly running and updating anything, even presenting alt text to images that students and instructors are posting, and then can customize accessibility for individual student use. So 3 layers of accessibility. So Nancy, you can click on the media button, and then you can do various things, embed and upload. And Jesse, you can jump right in and just create some stuff, and start just create your own and just start messing around, invite some friends. It's free.
Jesse, we recommend that please do reach out to us. We're happy to set up a more in-depth demo and walk you through more examples of the different modes and the different functionalities. Please feel free to reach out. I'll put my email in the chat box as well.
Nancy, I love your picture and the identify mode. That's awesome. You're all so engaged. So many comments about how to use the modes already. This is awesome.
I see that there's a question about whether students need to sign up. So if you're not using the LTI integration, they do have to create an account just like how you all did right now, and they have to enter the burst code to join the community. If you are doing LTI integration, we do have SSO so that user information can pass back and forth between the learning management system and the Pretzel platform. And Faith, to answer your question, we do integrate with Canvas.
All right. I hope that was fun. You guys were really successful. We appreciate it. What sort of support, Monica? I got your email. So it's free. We're working with small scale pilots right now with, obviously it's free for anyone who has the address to just start using, but we're strategically working with universities and organizations that are interested in actually being sort of pilot partners. We have a dozen or so of those right now. And truly a partnership where we give and get feedback, try to make changes and improvements based on what instructors need and how students are experiencing it. So definitely email us if you're interested in that. Of course, you could start using it. So it is free in that case. And we'll be launching an updated version, sort of our the official version in the fall, which will have some more modes, slightly different interface, and a couple other things that we think are super exciting. Yep, Nancy, just keep on using it. You can share it with anyone at your school. And again, you can just do it on your own, but we would love to connect with you. And we really value the feedback that we get from people. Again, we started this just as a project because we saw a problem that we wanted to solve. And, you know, that was impacting us and our students and our faculty. So we want to just keep getting ideas and keep making the learning environment that much more engaging.
Thanks, everyone. It was great chatting
So
with
I'm gonna
all
put
of
up,
you.
yep. Any more questions? Anyone else?
You saw the one question, who would you reach out to discuss a pilot? And I think that's why you put your information up here.
Yeah, right on the screen right now, yep.
Good.
Jim, well, we wrapped up our things since I ruined the first half.
No, that was great. I appreciate this. I want to let me go get the link to the session survey. I'll put that in the chat, and then I will stop the recording and say thank you. Yeah, here is the, back here. There's always so many things. There's a link to the session survey as well. So if you have a chance, please fill that out. And then I have to stop playing with Pretzel right now and put up the next screens to show you where you'll need to go next. And I will do that. First, let me stop the recording. Well, I'll say thank you, and I'm going to stop the recording.